I, she mentions, thank you for having me, by the way. She mentions John Morgan's absence, and he kind of comes into my office. He has, obviously with his job, he has quite the travel schedule, and he'll come to me knowing I'm up for Senate confirmation and say, there's a big conference in Hawaii, you want to go? And he knows I won't be going, so he goes to Hawaii, and then he goes to the Bahamas. And so he has quite the travel schedule. I said, if I can never get confirmed, I'm cutting you off, and I'm going to start going. But that's just a no-no at this point in my career. So he's a great guy. He leads the Science and Technology Division. And again, he wanted to be here and couldn't, but I said I would be a good substitute for him. I want to talk a little bit about, first of all, begin by thanking the FBI and the NFSTC for co-sponsoring this event. I know it's been a long time since we had one. I think something of this similar impact has been over 10 years, and I know registration was full almost in 2 weeks at the excitement over this event and the need for this event, not only the networking opportunity for you to come and meet with your colleagues, but also learn the latest developments in the field. So we're tremendously honored to be part of that. I want to thank, beyond our co-sponsors, Jocelyn Williams. Is she here? I think she's here somewhere. If she wants to stand or be recognized, I hope she's in the room. I guess she's not. With the Institute for Law and Justice and the members of the advisory committee for their work on this conference. They've been working over a year and have done a wonderful job, and what a wonderful venue. I'm going back today, and I'm not real pleased about it, but I know you'll enjoy the conference presentations as well as the venue. Research and practitioners are here from 39 U.S. states and 16 countries. Just to name a few of the countries we're seeing: Finland, Malaysia, Indonesia, Germany, Nepal, Australia, Singapore, United Kingdom, Canada, Netherlands, Barbados, China, Ireland, Colombia, Mexico, and Norway. I probably missed a few, obviously. There are more than that, but it's an amazing array of international participation as well. That we're real pleased to be part of that. Obviously, trace evidence in small measurable amounts is of great value. Can link an individual or an object to a crime scene. And obviously, in these small amounts, something is generally left behind at a crime scene that you can use. Even if it's insufficient in its own way to solve the entire crime, it can be used as an investigatory tool, corroborate other evidence, or prompt a confession from a suspect. What we have is we have a tremendous databases to match against in glass and paint and other areas, but in some of the other types of trace evidence, we haven't done as good a job, and we're not aware of those databases. So as we move forward, and one of the future NIJ journals will be talking about that, West Virginia University is preparing a database of those types of competitive databases that you compare your evidence against, and they'll be doing that and publishing it in our NIJ journal in the future. We've been supporting trace evidence research for about 10 years at NIJ, and we'll be having a trace evidence solicitation coming up in 2008. Several technical presentations. I wanted to point out some of the ones that you're going to be seeing over the next couple of days. Everything from fibers and metal buttons and welding fume particles and paint chips as incriminating evidence, elemental analysis of glass, the interpretation of paint evidence through the use of population studies, forensic analysis of building materials, advances in discrimination of dyed textile fibers. And we also have some symposiums on different topics as well. Case management issues from crime scene to courtroom, the significance of trace evidence in criminal casework, the need for scientific reliability in the courtroom, new developments in state-of-the-art and trace evidence examinations, the scientific basis of trace evidence, and issues such as standards and accreditation, which is very important to us as NIJ. One of the big roles we play in the federal government is helping to set those national standards and accreditation. Because in the United States, I would say the value we have is we're a very diverse country, and ideas come from all over the place, and democracy is sort of a messy thing, but agencies like NIJ step in and try to help set those standards and help bring that field together, like at conferences like this, in order to tell us all what we need to move forward in the field beyond the support of research. Attorneys and courts are obviously increasingly looking for ways to substantiate the evidence they use in court, bring mathematical probability to that evidence, so they can talk to juries and ensure the juries they're doing the right thing. We talk a lot about the CSI effect. We talk about that at all of our conferences, how the expectations of jurors are becoming higher and higher for what they want to see at court, and when they actually try to convict someone of a crime. So we really need to do a better job of educating, we know at NIJ, on helping people determine the weight and the significance of trace evidence as it goes into the courtroom. And so we'll be continuing to work on that as a research priority at NIJ. I wanted to share something with you that I'm not sure that it actually got published, but it will show you how NIJ, and particularly OJP, my boss, Regina Schofield, the Assistant Attorney General of the Office of Justice Program, feels about the importance of trace evidence. Jeffrey Toobin in the New Yorker in May of 2007 had an article talking about the scientific reliability, questioning the scientific reliability of trace evidence. And it was a case based on two undercover investigators who had been murdered in New York. And he talked about the mathematical probabilities that DNA provides and that trace evidence doesn't quite get there. It's not quite a match as you would see on TV, but it's also something that associates the suspect with a crime scene. And so he went through quite an article, and so immediately our office and Regina wanted to write a response and talk about the importance of trace evidence and how it continues to be a high priority for NIJ and the Department of Justice. And I just want to read her response. Again, I'm not sure that it ever made it to the New Yorker, but Regina writes, "I'm grateful to Jeffrey Toobin for his May 7th article discussing the forensics debate among scientists and criminologists. However, I'm concerned that readers will be left with a false impression that DNA analysis is rendering trace evidence examiners obsolete. The best way to guard against mistakes in criminal investigations is to use complementary methods of evidence examination. Thus, many laboratories routinely back up hair comparisons with mitochondrial DNA analysis. In fact, the Federal Bureau of Investigation has established 4 regional laboratories for this purpose. The National Institute of Justice and the FBI are sponsoring extensive research and trace evidence examination involving everything from mass spectrometry of glass, ink, and paint samples to bomb and fire debris analysis. In August, we are co-sponsoring a major symposium that will bring together law enforcement officials, forensic scientists, and researchers to discuss the cutting-edge science and evidence analysis. We are right to be excited about the future of DNA, but trace evidence will play a vital criminal justice role for a long period to come." So it shows her support and the support of NIJ for what you do every day and how it complements what we do in the President's DNA Initiative and how they work together to help us exonerate the innocent or find the guilty. In many other ways, we're supporting trace evidence. We are having a conference with the National Academy of Sciences. They are working on our forensics committee, that we are working with them to accomplish their mission, and they will be having recommendations on trace evidence and how we move the research agenda forward and how we better use that in what we do every day relating to solving crimes. You'll see case presentations on high-profile cases that will show the value of trace evidence. The O.J. Simpson case, Green River murders, local and international cases that involve trace evidence. You'll see those over the next days that highlight the power of trace evidence. You'll also see a poster session of over 40 technical and research projects from all over the world that will also talk about the value of trace evidence and where we're going in the next stages of research related to its value. And those will open on Wednesday afternoon. The exhibit hall will also be open Tuesday and Wednesday with so many people interested in the effort. The agenda for this conference will be available on CD-ROM. As you leave, you can take that with you to share the agenda of this, and also this entire presentation is going to be filmed to be a webcast. So we're going to try everything we can do to get the information out to those interested that weren't able to attend the conference today. So as you're here, be sure and ask questions, attend the events. I know we have some gatherings afterwards for networking on Tuesday night and a dine-around on Wednesday evening, so I encourage you to go to those as well. Again, I cannot tell you if you have any doubts about the value we put on trace evidence at NIJ or OJP at the Department of Justice. I hope they're quelled by the end of this conference. I want to thank you for your efforts every day. I want to thank you for taking the time to come to this conference, and thank you for having me.